Hi everybody, it's Chris. Today is June 30th, 2019, and guess where I'm filming from? I'm filming from the Hyatt. It's the last day of StitchCon. Technically, yesterday was officially the last day, but the stitching room is still open all day from 8 till 10 o'clock tonight. Unfortunately, a lot of people have had to leave. They have to work in that tomorrow, so the crowd is really thinned out a little bit. But there's still a good group of people down there stitching, and a lot of us plan to finish out the weekend and get some more work done. But I just wanted to take the time before I get back home and before life gets busy to kind of do a little update, fill you guys in on some of the fun stuff we've been doing, show you some of the fun stuff that I've been working on, some of the stuff that I've purchased, and just let you know a little bit about the experience if you haven't had a chance to attend StitchCon or attend a retreat. It was interesting because this was my first cross-stitch retreat that I've ever been to, but a large portion of the people that were here, and there was about 370 of us in total, but a large portion of those people had never been to a retreat before and had never been to StitchCon before. So that was kind of fun. So I certainly wasn't alone in that. And it was, you'll hear it all the time, but it was amazing. It is so much fun. You get to meet so many people. It's so fun to meet those people that you've just been watching on a screen for who knows how long, to actually meet them in real life and talk to them and get to know them, and you know, and again, just getting to know Flosstubers on a different level. And I think that's what Barbara was aiming for when she wanted to bring fans and Flosstubers together. So the event ran beautifully. You know, a lot of people were worried that it was going to be like 400 people, and it might be noisy or crowded, and it wasn't. Like, the room never seemed that loud to me. Even in the hotel, there's only 2 elevators. I never had to wait for an elevator. The hotel's beautiful. The rooms are beautiful. So just a wonderful, wonderful experience. You'll probably see people post pictures, but our shuttle from the hotel to La Quinta and to Keepsakes was a bus this year, a bus that Barbara and Joe bought and fixed up, and it's called the Stitchy Bus. So as I say, people that know how to insert photos will probably insert a photo to show you, or you'll see pictures on Instagram or Facebook. But yeah, going to the shop, such a fun experience. When you see pictures of it on Instagram, or you hear Pam and Steph or Nicole Buckeye Stitcher talking about, Keepsakes, it was just really fun to actually go and, see the shop, go in there, see all those stitched models. It's just amazing, and so much fun shopping, and again, meeting Barbara, meeting Joe, meeting Linny, meeting Jen Grimes. It was, what can I say? I've had a blast, and it's going to be sad that it's going to be over, but I'm looking forward to going back and seeing my family, because of course I miss them too. So enough of that. I'm going to start out with the boring stuff and maybe get to the more exciting stuff, depending on what you're looking for. So I'm going to share with you some of the things I've been working on while I've been here. One of the projects that I started, this was a new start for me, was this Clouds Factory pattern. It's the Star Trek alphabet. You'll probably remember I did the Game of Thrones alphabet for my daughter last fall. So this one I'm doing for my husband, because he's a huge Star Trek fan. He watches all the Star Treks, and he watches them over and over again. So I thought he'd get a kick out of this. So I brought this as a new start, and I've got 2 people done, Jonathan Archer and Benjamin Sisko, and then I'm just starting on Chekhov, I think that is, yep, so Chekhov. So different eras of Star Trek are all represented in this, so that's a lot of fun. And this is really easy to work on here. It's done on 14 count Ada. It's nice big blocks of color, so if you are a bit distracted, it's pretty easy to follow along, and the count, there's not a lot of counting involved type of thing. It's fairly simple that way. So that was really fun to get started and work on that. The other one I worked on was my White Willow stitching behind the bit, my horse. I took a little break from him while I was working on another project, and it was really fun to get back to working on him again. Pardon the wrinkles, because he's kind of been folded up as I've been stitching on him, but so that's where he's at now. This is on 18 count oatmeal Ada that I'm stitching him on. So yeah, it's a little bit more done on him. I do have one other project that I'm working on today. I didn't bring it up to the room with me because it's down on the table. It's a Mill Hill kit, but I'll show that in another video when I have a little bit more of it done. But the other project that I'm really excited about, I had no plans to bring this with me. I was trying to finish it before I left home, and I was close, so I decided to bring it because I made the trip in 2 legs. So when I stopped at the border, I thought, oh, that night I can work on it in the hotel, maybe I can finish it, which I did work on it, but I didn't finish it. So I brought it with me here to StitchCon and decided I was going to finish it here. So on Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, that's all I stitched on, and I stayed up late, specifically with Dina, because I wanted to finish it. She was working on a finish as well. So you'll probably remember this. It's my oldest whip. It's a Candemar Designs embellished cross stitch from 1999 that I'd started for my sister, and it's sort of like a hate-hate relationship. I didn't find it fun to stitch on at all, but I was determined to finish it, and I did. So here it is, again, not ironed, but with the masking tape from 1990 still around the edges. But there it is, stitched. So when I get home, I'm going to see about finding a frame for it and get it framed, and then I'm going to give it to my sister, maybe for her birthday, which is in October, maybe for Christmas, or maybe I'll just give it to her for no reason at all because it's finished and I'm just happy that it's finished and I want to move it on to its new home. So that's kind of what I've been working on while I've been here. So you may remember my smalls exchange. I showed that in my last video before I came. So they did it. It was really great the way they did it this year because, yeah, 400 people, that's a lot of people to do a smalls exchange. So they divided us into 4 groups. When you checked in, you reached into a bag and pulled out a chip, and there was 4 different colors, and each chip had a number on it. So the different groups went at different times, 11 and 4 on Friday and 11 and 4 on Saturday. And then, yeah, they just called up your numbers. And I happened to be number 1 in my group, so I got to go up and pick first. So there were so many, again, there were so many things, and they're all wrapped, and everything looked great. It was overwhelming almost to know what to pick. But anyway, so I zeroed in on this little package because it had this cute little kitty with this unicorn horn on it, and I just thought that was adorable. And lo and behold, in it was this unicorn biscornu. I believe it's probably a tiny modernist pattern. At least it looks like one of hers. Oops, sorry. And on the back she put this cute little button. The edges have these little diamonds on them. But it's beautifully stitched and made up, and it's so adorable. I was using it on the table to put my needle in. But along with that were these Post-it notes. This unicorn, and some unicorn stickers. Like, how perfect is that? I love how she coordinated everything. And the girl that made this, oh, can you see that? It's Christine Cook. So on Flosstube, she's Ms. Cookie Stitcher. Anyway, I loved it. I loved how she themed everything together, and I don't own a biscornu, so that was great to get my first biscornu that I can use. And I love those little Post-it notes. They make me laugh. So thank you, Christine. I love it. It's great. I'm so happy. So that was my smalls exchange. So the next thing I wanted to mention is the people that I met. I met a lot of people, but we did find a lot of people when they sat at a table. That is where they stayed for most of the weekend. So you got to know the people that you're sitting with really well. And I had some great people at my table. The first person that I wanted to mention was Dina from Half Stitch Cross Stitch. A lot of you probably know Dina. And Dina is so sweet, so kind, so open, so welcoming. She's a wonderful storyteller. She has so many interesting stories that I could sit and listen to her all day. But anyway, so Dina, I so love meeting you, and I hope that we can continue to stay in touch, and hope that I get to see you again at a retreat down the road. But Dina was really sweet. Everybody's talking about these peels. So she brought peels for each of us at the table, and we got to choose what color that we wanted. So I got some blue ones. The other person at my table was Lori, Organic Granny. who the first time I met Lori was in a Jimmy Flosstube video when he was interviewing her. So that was fun getting to know Lori better and stitch with her. And yeah, she's got a great sense of humor, and it was really fun to spend time with her. Another person that was sitting at my table, those were the two Flosstubers along with myself that were at our table. And then we had some people that were not Flosstubers but were Flosstube fans. So the first girl was a fellow Canadian, small world. There was 5 Canadians at the at StitchCon, and Marissa and I were 2 of them. Marissa's from Quebec, and she was working on a memorabilia that was beautiful, but she said to herself that she's not going to do that again. She was finding it really hard with all the chatting and distractions to do the counting of where she was at that point in that particular piece. If she'd had more of it stitched, she said it would have been a little bit easier to maybe work on it. So, but Marissa was very sweet, and today she actually purchased a color and cotton hand-dyed floss for each of us, and she picked a color to kind of personalize it. She knew that I like blue because I wear a lot of blue, and she bought me blue. She bought Jennifer, another one of my table mates, purple because she likes purple. So it was very sweet and very thoughtful. So thank you so much, Marissa, for the floss, and it was great getting to know you, and again, I hope we'll stay in touch. And Lori, again, it was great getting to meet you in real life. And yeah, you were so much fun. I hope that I get to spend some time with you again at a future retreat. Another person that was at my table, which I just mentioned, was Jennifer. Jennifer is from Minnesota. She's been to some of the Minnesota retreats. And again, a really interesting person, and I love it that she is a full coverage person, because I'm thinking that is my niche. I certainly enjoy full coverage pieces, and she was working on like a different one each day, and they were so beautiful, and tiny little fabrics, or like tiny or high count fabrics, tiny little stitches, and they just look wonderful. So I hope that I can stay in touch with you, Jennifer. Again, it was great spending time with you. We ate a couple meals together, and I love seeing what you're stitching, and I hope I get to see your progress on those over time, because they're just beautiful. And then the last person that was at our table pretty much every day, well, that was at our table every day, was another non-Flosstuber, but her name is Deb, and she is from Florida. And Deb is funny and fun and vibrant, and again, just great storyteller and talented lady. She does a lot of, besides cross stitch, she does a lot of beading, and she has like a lot of jewelry that she's made. And she actually brought each of us a scissor fob. So this is mine that I picked. There's a little sea turtle on it, and it's got some greens and brown beads. So those were really, really cute. I also forgot to mention that Jennifer brought needle minders for swapping. So she gave us each a needle minder, and I love this one with this little cat with the glasses on it. So thank you for that, Jennifer. And thank you, Deb, for the scissor fob and all of the advice about beading, because I've never beaded before, and it intrigues me, and I might like to try and make some zipper pulls for some of my bags that I've made. We had a few other people that kind of, came and went type of thing, and again, it was just so much fun to meet people, and you're standing in lines to pay for things, you get chatting with people, or going for lunch and you'd sit with people. Most evenings when the stitch room closed, we would go to the lobby of our hotel, which was, lobby's kind of a loose term, because there was sort of a bar type area where we ate, breakfast and stuff, and we would go in there and sit and do some stitching. And so we often would meet up with Gary from Sunshine Stitchers, and Deb that was with him, and just spend a couple more hours or longer stitching each evening. And it was just great. So many people, and to meet these people in real life. And again, I have no words. It's just been fun. I also received a great gift from Nicole, Buckeye Stitcher. She's a friend of mine that I've met through Flosstube and Instagram, and she made a really cute Welcome to Cincinnati bag for me. It contained a really cute Cincinnati magnet that's made out of wood. It's so cool, so I think that could be a really cool needle minder. It has this beautiful goat milk soap that smells amazing. I'm sorry that you can't smell it through the internet, but it's lemongrass and it just smells amazing. Can't wait to try that. And I think cute little postcard of Cincinnati with a nice note on the back from Nicole. And then my favorite thing that she put in there, I just love this, it just makes me smile, is this string art paw print in this beautiful vibrant teal color on this wood block that you can hang up. Anyway, so that was cool. So thank you, Nicole. I love it. I love it. I love it. There's a few other little sort of random gifts that we received. One morning we came, and on our tables there were cookies made by Barb and Leanne from Lost and Floss. Thank you, Barb and Leanne. They were delicious. I had a chocolate chip one and I loved it. Ryan from Wild Violet Cross Stitch. I went out to supper one night with her. She drove, which I really appreciated. Thank you, Ryan. And she gave me one of her needle minders, even though I wasn't in the needle minder swap. And so that's cool. And she has a little picture. These are one of the charts. She's a designer, and she has an Etsy store. So there's a little chart there, and she actually had that on the brag table as well, that you could see it in real life, the little tart tin. So thank you, Ryan. Stephanie Lindy Stitches was here, and this is the fun little pattern that she had made, the little scissor fob. So she was giving those to people as a little gift. So that was fun. We had to stitch those. I apologize. Oh, I do have a couple more needle minders. Again, I wasn't in the needle minder swap, but several of the people today, just because they had needle minders left over, were just asking if people would like them. So one of the people that sort of cycled in and out of our table a couple times was Diane. And Diane, I apologize, I forget where you were from. She was working on a Mirabilia, and she was swapping needle minders, and she had some really pretty needle minders, and she said that we could have one. And look at how cute is this. Is that not adorable? Look at how small that is. It's like a little glass fronted thing. So I've been wearing that on my collar of my sweater. And then I believe, I apologize if I've got this wrong, but I think this was from you, Brenda, the Handwork Maniac. But she had these cute little wooden needle minders with these little ladybugs, and there was some with bees on them, but those were adorable. So I've kind of got a big pile of stuff here, so I hope I'm not missing anything, and I apologize if I've missed anything from anybody. So the next thing I thought I would do is show you just quickly some of the things we received in our StitchCon goodie bag, which looks like this. Mine is full of a bunch of freebies, freebie charts, freebies from keepsakes, freebies from the freebie table, which I'm not, there's no really exciting things there, so I don't think I'll worry about showing you that for now, because there's lots of other good stuff to show you. So in our StitchCon bag, besides our passports that you're probably familiar with those from last year, they contained a sort of a trivia question about each of the Flosstubers, and as Flosstubers we were given stickers, and people would have to come and find us and tell us which clue they thought was ours, and we'd give them a sticker. So besides that, there was this really cute little sort of welcome to Ohio. It's a little felt ornament in the shape of the state that is just adorable with this little wooden heart on there, so we got that. We got the StitchCon logo again, so we got the chart for that if we want to stitch it, designed by Sue Hillis. In there we got like quite a few charts, and several of them were made specifically for StitchCon 2019. But everybody got a Raise the Roof pattern, and they're all different, but this is the one I got with the funky little tree and the snowman. Winter and Christmas, it's called, by Raise the Roof. This is by Arlene from ABC Works, and Nosegay from 1604. I think I'm reading that backwards, so I think that's right. We got this one from Pedal Pusher. We got this one from Julie at Reflections, Mrs. Claus's Boot. Adorable. Barefoot Needle Art. They had a trunk show here. As did Arlene from ABC Works. And this one is, oh, Kanikis. Kanikis, be joyful always. The little bees. So those are a few of them. The other ones, they don't have photos of the finished, so I wasn't going to show you just the patterns, but there was quite a few in there. So that was wonderful. And then the other final thing in there was this beautiful journal that the little rubber band, the line pages. Some people were using theirs to get, you know, contact information from people or signatures, that type of thing. But I want to keep mine for something else down the road. So I think then the fun part is I'm going to try and show you some of the things I bought. I did buy a few things, so I'll try to go through them quickly here so I don't take too long. And yeah, if you're not interested in stash, which again I'm not sure why people wouldn't want to see what people are buying, but that's fine. I'll see you next time. So the first thing I bought was a series of the Trilogy, these little trees. So this is the Halloween tree, this is the spring tree, this is the autumn tree, and this is the summer tree. I'm assuming, but I haven't researched it yet, that there may be a Christmas and or winter tree, but I couldn't find it in keepsakes, not for lack of trying. And thank you, Michelle Mitchstitch, who helped me look and found 2 of the 4 of those for me when she knew that I was looking for them. I should also thank Michelle because she also gave me some Vegemite crackers, which the verdict's still out, whether I like them or not. So another thing I bought these in the Annex by Talon Emblem. Do these have a name? They just have a number. So it's these 2 designs with these birds on them, which I think are just adorable. And they're stitched in DMC, which is easy, makes it easy for me because it's hard for me to get hand-dyed flosses. I also, in anticipation of Christmas in July stitching, I got this Madame Chantilly Gifts for Santa. They had the model stitched up at Keepsakes and it was adorable. So I want to work on that. From Silver Creek Samplers, I got this one, which is Eye on the Sparrow, which I thought was very sweet. And then from the Blue Flower, I've wanted this one for a little while. I got Winter Squirrel, who I'm also going to do for Christmas in July. And I'm going to do Winter Squirrel on this Picture This Plus Legacy, I believe this is, fabric. And these are the flosses that I'm going to stitch them in. I also couldn't resist buying this adorable bunny, Spring Fling, and they made it very easy. because the fabric was right beside the patterns. Good tactic to get people to buy something. I bought a tacky bob because I did not own one, and I bought a snag nabbit because I did not own one, so I'm excited about that. And then the final thing I bought was a Garin bag. There's not too much reflection there. With these adorable little puppy dogs all over it. I could not resist. I have some of my own bags that I've made, but I do find some of my bigger projects, it's a little bit tight to fit them in there, so that's how I justified buying one of their bags, is I could use that for some of my bigger projects. So I hope I haven't forgot anything. If I have, I'll make sure in the next video that I mention it. But I'm gonna go back down to the stitching room now and spend the rest of the day and the evening stitching before I have to say goodbye to all of my new friends and go back to Canada. So until next time, bye.